Are you sure you got the whole story? Here are our favourite DLCs that changed the entire game. The term DLC, or downloadable content for those of you who've always wondered but have been too scared to ask, is a really broad one. Of course, DLC is extra content that will add on to the base game, but that can range from a few extra hats to new stories, characters, and areas on the map that will unfurl on purchase. As much as we love the escapism that a new hat provides, we don't have a face for hats, but at least Geralt does. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the DLC that not only added heaps of new content to our favourite games, but literally changed them. These are unmissable DLCs that you need to try if you want to fully experience the game. Speaking of unmissable, to make sure you never miss another one of our videos, why not subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay completely up to date? We're starting with a big one. BioWare has a knack for giving us DLC that's as important to the story as the base game itself. With Dragon Age Inquisition, the ending of the main game didn't quite pack as much of a punch as we expected. Throughout the 50+ hour runtime of Inquisition, you come to form close relationships with your party. You help them mend relationships with their families, realise their true potential, and see their butts during card games.
I tried to warn you, Curly.
Never bet against an Antiva, Commander.
But the ending of the main campaign wasn't quite the emotional goodbye it could have been. Enter Trespasser. Without asking, of course. In Trespasser, you reunite with every member of the Inquisition for one last hurrah, and uncover the true nature of some of your closest allies. There are twists, turns, and, depending on who you choose to romance, perhaps even a wedding. It's both the perfect goodbye and a sneaky see you next time rolled into one.
That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
This may not come as a surprise to most of you, but The Witcher 3 is long. The main campaign can take anywhere from 25 to 50 hours to complete, and takes you from White Orchard to the Skellig Isles. With Blood and Wine, however, an entirely new area of the map in the form of the sun-drenched Toussaint opens up. It's a breath of fresh air, one that doesn't carry the faint smell of corpses with it, as Geralt uncovers the idyllic region's dark secrets. We won't say too much, as the best bit about the world of The Witcher are its twists and turns.
Found a handkerchief in the water, monogrammed DLC. Mean anything to you?
There's also the slightly shorter but no less enjoyable Hearts of Stone DLC that introduces the lovable Shani, a favourite amongst fans of the Witcher books, and, well, this. Welcome back, BioWare. We know it's only been about 2 minutes, but we were really starting to miss you. It's hard to narrow down the best of Mass Effect's DLC, and if you picked up the Legendary Edition, you won't have to, as it's all there in one neat, highly weaponized package. For Mass Effect 2, we were given 2 extra squad mates in the form of Zaid and Katsumi, with Katsumi's loyalty mission in particular being both emotional and exciting in equal measure. But it's the lair of the Shadow Broker that really changes the game. Not only do you get to team up with everyone's favourite soft-spoken Asari Liara,
Send them flying. Understood.
as you take on the Shadow Broker together. But doing so then allows you to access the Shadow Broker's lair, complete with some rather sordid info about your squad mates. We know, we shouldn't have looked, but we just couldn't help it.
Let's see what we've got.
Then there's Mass Effect 3. It's fair to say that upon initial release, fans weren't over the Earth's moon, or does Mars have a moon? They weren't over that either when they played the original ending. But if the Citadel DLC was BioWare's apology, we wouldn't mind if they upset us a few more times. The Citadel DLC is the real emotional goodbye to the squad mates that, in some cases, have been by your side for 3 games. That's hundreds of hours, a resurrection, a few little tiny threats to all of humanity, and a lot of loyalty. It's fair to say that if you didn't venture into the Citadel in Mass Effect 3, you really haven't had the full experience.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's performance is brought to you by random acts of violence.
Bioshock Infinite's Burial at Sea is a stylish detective noir that feels both familiar and a world away from the main game. Speaking of a world away, unlike Infinite, which is set in the floating city Columbia, Burial at Sea takes a deep breath and plunges back into Rapture, showing us the gorgeous underwater world before the events of the first Bioshock game. As Detective Booker DeWitt, you'll be helping Elizabeth solve a mystery that ties into the first two games in unexpected ways. At this point, saying all is not what it seems in Bioshock is like saying water is wet. It feels almost like a love letter to Bioshock, written by Bioshock. No judgment here, self-love is important. It's a change of pace and a whole new adventure, where Booker and Elizabeth, despite being well acquainted with each other in Infinite, as we well know, appear to be complete strangers to one another. It's short but worth it, and Bioshock at its absolute best.
You gotta name this?
Elizabeth.
The Elder Scrolls games have delivered us some excellent DLC over the years, from Oblivion's Shivering Isles, where you spend a bit of quality time with the Daedric Prince of Madness, Sheogorath, lovely chap, to Skyrim's Dawnguard, which turns you into a sun-fearing vampire. But Skyrim's second DLC, Hearthfire, holds a special place in our heart. In Hearthfire, you can take the RP part of RPG to the next level, as you build your own home and fill it with your new family, and all of the candlesticks you found yourself picking up across your adventures. If you're the sort of person who loves an epic open-world adventure, but often finds themselves wondering, why doesn't my character ever sleep? Then Hearthfire is for you. It's a cozy little game changer that gives your Dragonborn some welcome respite from all the mud crabs. Until your kids start asking for pocket money, that is.
Hey Ma, welcome back. Could I get a few gold to spend, please?
Borderlands has never been a franchise known for its subtlety. It's about as understated as a gun that shoots guns, and yes, Borderlands 3 does have that exact weapon. But with Borderlands 2 DLC Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, which takes place after the events of Borderlands 2, Gearbox takes that mayhem and dials it up to 11. Tiny Tina acts as the Bunker Master of the game, which she narrates in a Dungeons & Dragons-esque style.
You enter the Dwarven mines. You hear the anguished wails of the sorcerer's political prisoners and enslaved dwarves.
I'm a dwarf and I'm enslaved!
That means that enemies are also of the fantastical variety, from dragons to orcs, knights to skeletons. It's a surreal but welcome change of pace to the Borderlands franchise, and lets us live out our fantasy of having Ashley Birch be our dungeon master. Just us? Okay.
You fought well, girl. I'll be honored as hell to join your quest.
Roland doesn't talk like that.
He does when I'm voicing him, girl.
Yes, for shizzle. Now let's go.
For our final entry, not only are we playing a little bit fast and loose with the term DLC, as this one technically counts as a standalone expansion, but we're also taking the phrase game changer very literally. Far Cry 3's Blood Dragon expansion takes the tense action-adventure of the base game and asks it, do you know the definition of insanity? It's a synthy, gritty, neon escapade where you play as the patriotic cyber commando Sergeant Rex Colt, and is set in a dystopian, post-nuclear war version of Far Cry 3's Island. It's got a tongue-in-cheek sense of humour that truly feels like a far cry from the franchise we know and love.
No nanobits left. Daddy needs his medicine.
So those were some of our favourite DLCs that changed the game. Let us know your favourites in the comments, or for a bonus point, let us know the dream DLC you wish was real. We're out here hoping for a Red Dead 2 DLC focused on Sadie Adler, but until that happens, make sure to give the video a like, subscribe to Logitech G, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video.